Man, so the past 2 weeks have been crazy in popular culture, especially surrounding the issue of anti-Semitism. But first, before we get into all of that, I need to introduce myself. My name is Sydney Rosant. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I am a podcaster, so please check out my podcast, and I'm going to link my social media in the description and below. To preface everything I'm about to say, right, I'm going to give a disclaimer. Probably going to ruffle some feathers, probably going to upset some people, but I honestly don't care that much. The first statement I would like to make, the first declaration actually, I'm going to call it a declaration, is that if you are a Black American, if you are a African descendant of slaves, you are not a Jew, not by ethnicity, okay? You're not a pharaoh, okay? You're not an Egyptian, and you are not a Native American. You are West African by way of the transatlantic slave trade. For some odd reason, I don't know if the hotep pipeline has gotten some of y'all, but you are not any of those things. And to suggest that you are a Jew, to suggest that you are East African, to suggest that you are Egyptian, to suggest you are Native American is to reject your ancestry. And it is inherently anti-Black, right? You refuse to admit that you're probably Nigerian or Senegalese or Cameroonian or Congolese. Okay, that's what you most likely are. So to reject that part of you is inherently anti-Black. Now, let's get into the topic. The first thing, do I think Kanye West, the statements that he's made in the past are anti-Semitic? I 1000% totally do, especially when he said that he wants to go DEFCON 3 on all Jewish people. Now, for reference, let's actually research and figure what does DEFCON 3 mean, because I didn't know what it meant initially. So pretty much DEFCON 3 is increasing the force readiness above that required for normal readiness. So basically it's the levels in which American armed forces is supposed to mobilize. So there's DEFCON 5, which is normal. That's the lowest state of readiness. DEFCON 4, which is above normal, and that means intel watch increased, security measures strengthened. DEFCON 3 is Air Force will mobilize in 15 minutes and the force readiness is increased above normal levels. DEFCON 2 is armed forces are ready to deploy in 6 hours or less, near nuclear war. And DEFCON 1 is maximum readiness, nuclear war. So the implications that Kanye West made in saying DEFCON, we need to go DEFCON 3 on Jewish people, it is eerily similar to what has occurred to them in the past, which is why everything that's happening to him is happening. Honestly, since Kanye West made the statement that Harriet Tubman didn't actually free the slaves, I will not really support anything he says. Anything he says, like, I don't care. He loses his deal with Adidas, I don't care. His school gets shut down, I feel bad for the kids, I don't care. Everybody pretty much disassociates from him, I don't care, right? He is the master of his own destiny and he is the reason for his own demise. Right now he's trying to like shift focus, right? Shift the blame and shift the accountability on Jewish people and suggesting that like, okay, the powerful Jews are the reason why I'm not successful right now. And it's not. It's his own poor business decisions. He could have controlled his means of production a long time ago. He decided not to do that. He decided to partner with Gap. He decided to partner with Adidas. And then in those partnerships, he could have negotiated the terms that worked for him. He didn't do that. That's on him. That has nothing to do with anybody else. It has nothing to do with Jewish people. It has nothing to do with Black people. Okay? I feel like I have to just get that out the way. Next, we have Kyrie Irving. And so Kyrie Irving's situation, in my opinion, is slightly more complex because I think Kyrie is one of those people who's just very misinformed. He seems very misinformed. He seems like somebody who a couple screws are loose. A, I feel like a couple screws are loose. And B, he seems like the type of person who sees something online that sounds pro-black, right? If you look at a website and it says like the truth about black people, right? That sounds like you're moving in the right direction, but the truth is that you're actually not. But I think Kyrie is the kind of person that falls into these internet dark holes or internet spirals, and so he spiraled into like this kind of hotep world, and that's why he reposted the film called Hebrews to Negroes, and that's why he's in a lot of trouble right now. So I think that situation is a little bit more complex. I don't think Kyrie has any intent to oppress. Whereas I do believe with Kanye, there was an intent to oppress. There was an intent to shift the narrative off of him onto Jewish people and to try to use some form of anti-Jewish hate for him to get what he wants. Whereas with Kyrie, I don't really see the anti-Jewish hate. He said himself, I love everybody. I've been around everybody. He's from New York, right? He's had so much exposure to Jewish people and just all people. So I feel like from Kyrie's standpoint, it's ignorance. The conclusion that I've come to after all of this, and y'all gonna hate me for this, Kyrie and Kanye are the evidence that black people can't be racist. Y'all, I know how y'all are right now. I know some of y'all watching this are like, no, that's not true. That's not true. They're being racist. Kanye certainly tried. And look what happened to Kanye. Black people can't be racist. We don't have the power. We don't have the influence. We're not taken seriously enough. And any mistake or slip up that we make is always punished to the 10th degree. Understand? So, like I said, you're probably not going to like what I'm saying right now. Probably not liking what you're hearing, but that's the truth. The second conclusion I've come to is that black people will never understand anti-Semitism simply because to make the determination that Jewish people are powerful is considered anti-Semitic. To make the determination that Jewish people are wealthy, that they have status, that on the socioeconomic hierarchy, Jewish people are at the top, right? They might be the most powerful marginalized group in America. Black people will never be able to conceptualize that. That will never, even I can't understand that. Now, I get it, right? Like, well, Jewish people didn't have a choice. They had to become wealthy because if they aren't wealthy, they're targets and they had to, really move as a collective unit. Trust me, I understand. I know what you're going to say and I know what you're thinking, but I want you, whoever's watching this video, to understand that black people are not thinking like that, because the kind of oppression and marginalization that black people have faced, I'm not trying to play the oppression Olympics, but there's no comparison. There's no comparison. And so when having the conversation about anti-Semitism, especially with black people, keep in mind that everything we're experiencing is probably 10 to 20 times worse because we don't have wealth, right? We aren't protected by a shield of money and influence. We aren't. We're literally at the bottom. So we're so at the bottom that the richest of us can try to be oppressors and still get kicked to the curb. That's how bad it is for black people. I think I am not excusing Kanye's behavior at all, but I think that when observing what's happening, that's kind of what stands out to me, is that, wow, Kanye tried. He tried to throw y'all under the bus and got ran over himself. Crazy. The people who are still Kanye supporters are seeing this and being like, okay, he was right. He was right. Now, Kanye was wrong, but I'm just trying to express how many black people are taking this. Now, my last point for the hoteps specifically, you're not pro-black, right? I already said this in the beginning of the video, but I want to reiterate. You're not pro-black because you're not doing anything productive for black people at all. You're actually a hindrance. You're a distraction from what we need to do to improve our conditions globally. You are a hindrance to us creating a collective that is productive. You are the hindrance. The fake documentaries being made, the Black Israelites in every major city handing out flyers. You're wasting time. You're wasting our time and you're wasting your time. Please explain to me, even if Black people are the real Jews, so what? So what? Please, somebody tell me how that helps us. Somebody tell me how Black people, being the real Israelites, being the real Native Americans, being the Moors, being the this, the that, the pharaohs, how does that help our access to healthcare? How does that help our access to education? How does that help our access to generational wealth? How does that help us destroy the prison industrial complex? How does that help us protect each other? How does that help us stop gentrification in Black neighborhoods? How? If you want to know your roots, take an ancestry.com test and figure out where you're from and then go visit. If roots are that important to you. But this whole pretending that you're an Israelite is nonsense to me, and it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time, and it's a waste of a precious resource that we have at our disposal, which is Google, right? All the things that you can research on Google, and y'all are typing in Blacks are the real Israelites, Blacks are the real Hebrews, documentaries about Hebrews and Negro. That's what you guys are typing in when you should be trying to understand how we've been marginalized in America. When you should be learning about the Black activists of our past and the theories that they created. So in conclusion, right, Kyrie's dumb and Kanye West is shameful. That's all I have to say about that. And I'm sure I pissed some of you guys off, but this is a great time to subscribe, like, comment. Let's really get a discourse going, okay? And make sure you watch some of my podcast episodes as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. That's all I got for you guys. Peace.